Class 11, good morning. Today we are beginning with chapter 5, and chapter 5's caption is to solutions to the basic economic problems under different economic systems. Now before this chapter, the chapter that you studied was talking about different types of economic systems, right? That is the capitalistic economy, the socialistic economy and the mixed economy, right? And before that chapter you studied the various problems that all the economies of the world they are facing. So we'll be combining both the elements in this chapter. We'll be seeing the features of each type of economy. For example, if you are studying a capitalistic economy is controlled and executed by price mechanism, right? Socialistic economy is executed by planning commission or planning system. So this is the mechanism through which these economies are working, and the problems are already you know how to produce, what to produce, for whom to produce, distribution of goods and services. All these are the problems which every economy of the world is facing. So we are going to study and discuss all those things over here in this chapter, or we are going to find out the solutions to the problem that you have studied in different economic structures. So before I start, I'll be quickly reviewing the meaning of price mechanism. And price mechanism is a mechanism in which prices they play a key role, right? Prices, so price is the key factor over here, key role in directing the activities of whose? Producers, consumers and resource suppliers. Now producers, you already know, they are the entrepreneurs. Consumers, all of us as consumers. And resource suppliers means those who own the factors of production, and the factors of production they are owned by the most of the time household, right? So here price mechanism is a system where prices they play a key role in directing the activities of producers, consumers and resource suppliers. Means because of price or for the price or with the help of price, all these three parties, the consumers, the producers and the resource suppliers, they guide their activities, right? This is what you mean by this. So now we can say that there are two important elements of price mechanism. One is price. Now price mechanism works through price in a free enterprise economy. Free enterprise economy is a capitalistic economy. We can also term it as a laissez-faire economy, right? So free economy or capitalist economy is the same. Price mechanism is controlling this kind of economy because all goods and services they carry a price tag with them. Now you might say that, ma'am, wherever we go and purchase the commodity, price is there. Yes, price is there, but here the prices they are determined by the two forces, the market demand and market supply, right? And that price is determined with the help of price mechanism. So we are giving a special emphasis to price over here. Now goods and services they are available at a price. Why? Because it involves, what involves? Goods and services, they involve a cost, right? When you are producing goods and services, they are produced by bearing a cost, so they carry a price tag. Now the prices they are determined through the impersonal. Why we are saying impersonal? Impersonal here means it is not individual demand, it is not individual supply, but it is market demand, so it becomes overall demand, so it becomes impersonal. So impersonal forces of demand and supply. Now there is, how this happens, there is competition among the buyers. We all go to the market and we know that there is competition in the market. As a consumer, there is competition among the buyers to buy goods and services, and on the opposite side there is competition among the sellers also to sell goods and services. Why competition you say? Because we are offering our own price. Who will get the commodity is not determined over here in a capitalistic economy, because government intervention is not everywhere. Do you get that? So there is competition. Similarly, there is competition among the sellers also for the same reason, because they are working for profit over here. So there is competition among the buyers also and among the sellers also, right? So it is through the interaction, through the mutual bargaining, through the mutual consensus of the competitive forces of demand and supply, that the equilibrium price you already studied, is the price where quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. The price at which quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied is equilibrium price. So through the interaction of these market impersonal forces, the equilibrium price of a good or a service or a factor service, whatever it is determined, right? Again, the second is or what we can over here say, we can continue over here also for a little while. Now we can also say that equilibrium price is the price at which quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. Now competition among the buyers and the sellers ensures, it confirms that prices ultimately settles down at the equilibrium level, because bargain takes place when you go to the market. When the seller is there is bargaining between the buyer and the sellers, and somehow through the bargaining both the parties, they come to a solution, they come to a consensus that okay, at this price the buyer is willing to buy this much of quantity, and at this price the seller is willing to sell this much of quantity, right? So somehow they both come together to the equilibrium level price. Now price is a very sensitive index. Why we are terming it sensitive index? Because a slight change in price will completely change the demand pattern and supply pattern of the economy, right? So any change in demand or the supply conditions brings about a change in the equilibrium price also. The second key factor of price mechanism is, this is all about price. The second key factor of price mechanism is market. Now market again constitute the integral part of the price mechanism, right? Because these only two forces they are working. You are bargaining, you are purchasing, you are demanding in the market only, and when price is there, then only you can demand. So these are the two characteristics, these are the two features of price mechanism. Now a market means a system or a setup in which the buyers and the sellers of a commodity are able to interact or to communicate with each other, and they confirm a deal, they strike a deal about price and the quantity to be bought and sold, right? Now there are two types of market, we have already talked about it. One is goods market and the other is factor market. Now good markets are the markets where goods and services, both goods and services are bought and sold, and factor market are the market where factor services are bought and sold. So in a nutshell, what can we say? That price mechanism is the mechanism which coordinates, which organizes, which controls, right, decisions in a free enterprise economy through a system of price and markets. This is the introduction of price mechanism. Why we are talking about price mechanism? Because we'll be seeing how this mechanism will help to solve the problem in a free enterprise or a capitalistic economy, and definitely in a mixed economy, because mixed economy is a composite of the features of both price mechanism and socialism. Now the next topic that we are coming on with is functions. What are the works of price mechanism in an economy, whether it's a free enterprise economy or it's a mixed economy? The first function, the very first function of price mechanism is that it is an instrument, it is a tool for determining the level of economic activities. I repeat, it is a tool. It is a tool for determining, for deciding what will be the level of economic activities. Now, when you say economic activities, we are talking about production, consumption, saving, investment and technological development. These few to be named, these are the economic activities. Now, this price mechanism only will decide that what will be the pace of this, what will be the speed of these economic activities in an economy. How that we'll be seeing later on. This is the first thing, right? Then second is, it is a coordinator of economic decisions. Coordinate means to collect, to come to a conclusion, to arrange all the decisions in an orderly manner. It organizes all the economic decisions. Now, again, decisions, we have just talked about the economic activities. Regarding these activities only, price mechanism coordinates the economic decisions. For instance, the decision of consumers and producers, they are coordinated through price mechanism. That is, so how we already know that your decision how much to consume, or producer's decision what to produce, so these, or how much to sell, all these decisions, they are coordinated with the help of price mechanism. Again, price mechanism means price and market, and we know that price is the key feature over here. Without price, you cannot have anything. If you are demanding anything, it is only on a price. If the supplier is supplying something, it is only at a price, right? Then third function of price mechanism is, it is a guiding force for consumers. Guiding means it makes a way for the consumers to decide about, to take decisions, right? How it is happening? The price mechanism, it helps consumers in determining the level, that is the level, you can say the amount, as well as the composition. Composition means the content of consumption expenditure. In other words, we can say that price mechanism helps the consumer to decide what amount of money they must spend, and on what commodities they must spend their money. This is also helped by price mechanism, right? Now, here price mechanism plays an important role again in determining the how it is happening. When you say that price mechanism is a guiding force for consumer to spend, to decide how much to spend and on what to spend, this leads to a channel, this leads to a process, how that when price mechanism plays an important role in determining the factor incomes in the factor market. Now, the factor owners are household, right? The way the prices of the commodity are determined in the market through the market impersonal forces of market demand and market supply. On the same, similarly, the price of factor services, they are also determined in the factor market through the market demand of factor services and market supply of factor services, right? Through this, the factor income is determined, right? Because the factor income is the price of factor services. So through this, the factor incomes are determined. Now, the level of income determines whatever is your level of income. As a factor owner, there when your labor is decided that at what price you will be offering your services, this determines the consumption expenditure. Your level of income will decide your consumption expenditure, which in turn will determine the total purchase of consumer goods in the economy. This is how it is working. Is it clear? So this is a guiding force for the consumers. Now, prices of goods and services, they are determined, and the composition of these consumer goods also, that what will you be consuming. Now, given the relative prices of different goods means the associative prices of different goods, consumer decides what quantity of various goods would be purchased. First you will decide how much you will spend, and then after finding out the prices of all the commodities, you decide which commodity you will purchase and which commodity you will not purchase. So price mechanism is helping you, is guiding you in both the ways, how much to spend and on what to spend. So prices of goods and services determined in the product market by the forces of demand and supply. They determine how the consumption expenditure will be incurred on the purchase of various consumer goods. The next function of price mechanism is it determines of factor income. Just now I have talked about the same thing. I'll just repeat it. That price mechanism plays a useful role in determining the remuneration, means again the income, that the payment for your labor, whatever labor you are doing. The remunerations paid to different factors of production, like wages are paid to the laborer, rent is paid to the capital owner, rent is paid when you are giving your property on lease, or you are hiring your property to someone else, or interest is paid for capital, and profit is given to the entrepreneur, right? These are the factor incomes that are paid to the respective persons, right? Now the factor remunerations are the prices of services. For you it is the income, but for the one who's purchasing your services, they are the price that they are paying for you. So the factor remunerations are the prices of services of factors of production. So factor prices are determined in the factor market by the forces of demand and supply, and that only works through price mechanism. Then next function of price mechanism, it is a guide to producers. The way it is a guide to consumer, similarly it is a guide to consumers or producers also. How? In a free enterprise economy, the producers, they work with the objective of profit maximization. Now profit maximization decisions, they are based on the product prices, right, and factor prices, right? Your profit maximization will be decided by the product price and your factor price, or we can say they are based on the cost of production. All these two things, they are the component of cost, product price and factor price. Now factor prices determines the cost of production and product prices. They, in conjunction with the cost of production, they determine the level of profit. So your cost of production will be determined with the help of price of product and price of factor services, and they will decide your profit margin, and thus they are guide to producers. The next is allocation of resources. The price mechanism helps in determining the allocation of limited resources in the production of various goods and services in order to maximize the total output. Then the seventh function of price mechanism is it determines the savings. Very important. Now consumers in a free enterprise economy, they are the kings and queens, right? We have already studied. The consumers, they are the kings and queens in a free enterprise economy, because they have the freedom of choice whether they want to consume or they want to save. So each individual decides that how much of his income he would like to save, right? Now since your income is fixed, so we will say given the income, it is fixed. Saving is determined, saving is influenced by what? Among other things, by the rate of interest prevailing in the capital market. That is, you will only save your money in the bank when you know that you will be getting a good rate of interest. So this rate of interest will be affecting your saving. Now rate of interest is again determined in the factor market. How? By the rate of factor services, right? So money income and interest, both, they determine the savings made by every individual. This is how it determines the saving in the market. Then it brings flexibility in the economy. Now price mechanism, it incorporates the flexibility in a free enterprise economy, because the changes, they take place every now and then. Changes in the preference of the consumer, or because why we are saying consumers, because producers, they only work for profit, and they know that if their production is guided by the demand of consumers, they will earn profit. So the consumers, they are more important over here. So the changes in the preference of consumers, their taste, they changes. Then on the producer's part, the conditions of supply, they change, right? The technique of production, it changes. They all these changes, they lead to changes in product and factor prices. If consumers part, demand factor will change, this will lead to change in product prices. If the supply conditions will change, it will lead to change in factor prices also. So the economy responds, they are keeping all these changes moving on. The economy and the price mechanism responds to various changes, and which ensures that smooth functioning of the economy. So these are the functions of price mechanism.